Echo Station 3T8.
We have spotted Imperial walkers.
After the destruction of the Death Star, the Rebel Alliance has spent 3 years running from the Galactic Empire. The Rebels moved to the Hoth system, a remote planet made of ice and desolate. And when the Empire discovered the base, it caused a battle that almost destroyed the rebellion forever. Darth Vader continued his search for the young pilot who destroyed the Death Star, Luke Skywalker, and the Rebel Alliance leaders. As he searched the galaxy with his Imperial fleet, he eventually located the Rebel base on Hoth and launched one of the largest ground offensives of the Galactic Civil War. The size of both armies and their numbers are not clear, but based on the movie, novels, comics, and books, we will play with the numbers to get a close approximate. The Rebels, under General Carlos Recan, may have had around 2,000 to 3,000 troops on the ground. However, it is not clear how many exactly defended the base. The Rebels also had one shield generator to counter the bombardment of the Imperial forces. As for starships, they had around 12 T-47 speeders, a fleet of more than 60 X-Wings, and also 30 GR-75 transports. Now, one side note about these transports is that we don't have an accurate number of how many people were inside each one, as that data is not available. It is mentioned that each transport had a capacity of only 90 passengers and 19,000 metric tons, which are around 42,000 pounds. So doing the math, we can assume each ship had a maximum capacity of 2,400 passengers if converted for a passenger capacity. However, we have to take into account provisions, personal belongings, weapons, equipment, and vehicles. So we will lower this number to under 1,000. So having that into consideration, with 30 transports going out, we have a total of around 30,000 troops for the Rebels. Have in mind that most of the Rebel Alliance was present on Hoth during the battle, so we cannot assume that 30,000 was the real number of the amount of troops that they had. The Imperial ground assault, led by General Maximilian Veers, consisted of 9 AT-AT or AT-AT walkers, alongside battalions of the 501st Legion, which consisted of a total of 14,000 troops. So we could say that at least 10,000 out of the 14,000 troops of the Legion were present in Hoth, and over a dozen AT-ST walkers and other equipment. On space, it was something different. The Empire had Vader's fleet with 1 Executor Star Destroyer and more than 7 Class 2 Imperial Star Destroyers. There could have been up to 15 of these, but it is not confirmed, so we will leave the number at 7, as we saw were next to Vader's Executor Star Destroyer. After locating the base, Vader's fleet moved onto Hoth immediately. However, the Executor's commander, Admiral Ozzel, made a tactical blunder early in the offensive. The overconfident Ozzel emerged from hyperspace too close to the Hoth system and allowed the Rebels to detect the fleet's approach. So the Alliance erected a planetary shield to prevent bombardment from space and began preparing a full-scale retreat.
The Rebels are alerted to our presence. Admiral Ozzel came out of light speed too close to the system.
He felt surprise was wiser.
He is as clumsy as he is stupid. General, prepare your troops for a surface attack.
Yes, my lord.
The commander of the ground Imperial forces, General Maximilian Veers, had a simple goal: overrun the Rebel base and capture all the Rebel personnel, while at the same time destroying the shield generator. The Rebel General Recan was instead dedicated to evacuating the Rebels to safety, and then he ordered the transports to be ready and also sent Rogue Squadron onto the battlefield to delay the approaching Imperials. Upon entering the Hoth system, Veers deployed several AT-ATs and Imperial forces alongside AT-STs as the backup. To stall the incoming walkers, Rogue Squadron flew modified T-47 airspeeders that were specifically changed to face the Imperial walkers. These snow speeders flew in a loose formation to draw the walkers' fire away from the Rebel ground troops. Unfortunately, the snow speeders' laser cannons could not penetrate the AT-AT thick armor. This forced a young pilot named Wedge Antilles to improvise and resort to a daring tactic, which consisted of using his airspeeder's harpoon and tow cable to entangle the legs of an AT-AT walker. After doing so, he forced the walker to the ground and then destroyed it by firing on the weakest spot of the walker, the joint between the cockpit and the passenger compartment. As Rogue Squadron struggled with General Veers' forces, the Rebel transports began launching. Initially, each transport launched individually with 2 X-Wing escorts, and an ion cannon would cover them by disabling momentarily the Imperial Star Destroyers in orbit. As the Imperial forces closed in, the rebels were forced to launch the transports in pairs, having only one escort per ship, as all hands abandoned the base, which was then overran by Imperial snowtroopers. The Battle of Hoth would become the Rebel Alliance's most terrible defeat, as it left them powerless for a short time without any capacity to fight back the Empire. Out of the Imperial forces, one admiral, several hundred snowtroopers, several dozen TIE pilots, and multiple AT-AT personnel were killed. Out of the machines, one Imperial II class Star Destroyer was disabled, alongside several dozen TIE fighters and 3 AT-ATs destroyed. These losses were nothing considering the Galactic Empire's resources. However, on the Rebel Alliance side, the losses were terrible. 17 out of the 30 transports and 5 snowspeeders were destroyed. The rebels suffering at least several hundred and possibly to 1,000 dead. Every single life lost was a blow to the Alliance, given their vulnerability and how fragile they were in terms of support and personnel count. Although many rebel transports escaped Hoth, the Alliance suffered these heavy casualties. The defeat on Hoth severely weakened the Alliance, and rebel forces remained understaffed for the remainder of the Galactic Civil War. A year later, still suffering from the after effects of Hoth, the Alliance was forced into its incredibly risky assault on the second Death Star at the Battle of Endor. Hi, this is Content Wars, and I want to thank you for watching this video. If you could like and share this video, it would help me a lot in getting this channel even further. Thank you again, and I will see you in the next episode.